I've got a little gasoline story for you, Joe. A little
Uh-oh.
gasoline story. I purchased some years ago a 1994 Jeep Wrangler, the car that I miss the most. I purchased it from some country folk in the North Georgia mountains, and it was an old beater, and I got a good deal on it, and I surprised it even drove home. I got home and was getting ready to take it to the mechanic and get it looked at and have it whatever repairs needed. But I needed to first get the license plate, and so I went to get the license plate. And in the county I lived in Metro Atlanta, I had to get emissions done. So I went to go get
Oh,
emissions
no.
done, and I failed the emissions. But the reason I failed the emission, they didn't even run the emissions all the way. I failed it because I didn't have a catalytic converter. I didn't even know what that was. They said, we have to see that you even have one. There's not one. The place where it normally would be, somebody removed it and just welded a straight pipe there. I don't even know what that thing is. So they said, you got to go get a catalytic converter. Well, it's going to be $600-700. I don't have the money, and I've got to get the car registered within so many days. And so I went to a different place and thought maybe they just won't see it, or they won't notice that it's missing. Well, they didn't notice that it was missing. They didn't check, but they ran the test. But my numbers on the actual emissions test were 4 times higher than they're allowed to be. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So many thousands parts per million. So I failed it. And I'm like, okay, there's no way to get around this. I'm going to have to get this catalytic converter. And so I'm at a local parts store, just telling my woes, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And the guy says, I've got a trick for you, but you didn't hear it from me. And I said, okay. He says, go buy a quart of denatured alcohol from Home Depot. And I don't even know what that is. He says, pour a couple cups of it in your gas tank and then go back and get your emissions retested. And okay. And I still to this day don't know what it is or what it does or any of those things. He said that truck drivers pour a little in their tank to get rid of water that gets mixed in with the diesel or something. I don't know. This is just a gasoline, Jeep Wrangler. And so I did. And I go back to the same place that was too lazy to see that there's no catalytic converter with just a couple of cups of this denatured alcohol dumped in the gas tank. And it went from being, 9,000 parts per million to being 14. It was, the guy's like, a brand new car fresh off the lot couldn't have numbers this clean. And it's this old beater of a Jeep. And it was so clean, so clean. And so I did that to pass. And then I did buy the catalytic converter a couple of months later, but I cheated just to get my tag registered.